Ethan. Ethan is our co-host. I'm the host of the Crypto Mining Podcast, Crypto Mining Tools Podcast. And Ethan, why don't you go ahead and introduce?
Yeah. Hey, everybody. I'd like to introduce our guest today, Fernando Rivero. He is co-founder of Mining Disrupt. Fernando, can you tell us a little bit, how you fit in the whole world of crypto? Tell the audience.
Yeah, so a little bit about myself. I've been in the crypto game for a couple of years. Started trading crypto in 2009 and noticed that there was a gap in education of crypto. There was a mystic field towards blockchain, cryptocurrency, and Bitcoin. So we started hosting events and eventually landed on Mining Disrupt, which was one of the largest mining conference for 2019. And our goal is to educate and make connections as much as possible between people in our network and people that come to our events. So that's what we're looking to do and continue to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I went to the Mining Disrupt, the very first one last year, and it was amazing, honestly. And this isn't an ad, it's not a commercial, but it was exactly who I wanted to be talking to as an ASIC mining equipment broker myself. All of my customers were there, all of my prospects, all of my vendors, and it was just amazing for me personally.
Yeah, I can't wait to go myself. So I'm looking forward to going to the next one.
Yeah. So Fernando, what else do you do other than that event?
Right. So Block Tech Network is one of the co-founders of Mining Disrupt. It's a company that I co-own. We host monthly events in multiple cities as well as multiple countries. And what we're trying to do is we host free events as well as paid events, trying to educate people around cryptocurrency, blockchain, and mining. It's kind of all encompassing. We use those events in, most of the events are in Shenzhen, Miami, New York, Atlanta. We also have some events in Venezuela and other countries, but we use those events to bring awareness to other conferences or events that we're doing. So for example, this Saturday, we do have a tokenized art event that we will be hosting at the One Hotel in South Beach. And then January is actually a very big month for Miami. We've got the Washington Elite Conference that's going to be coming down, which is big from AI blockchain perspective. That's going to be hosted by Bruce Porter and Washington Elite folks. And we also have the North American Bitcoin Conference that's going to be going on that same week. That is pretty much a staple for blockchain and Bitcoin. A bunch of people are going to be there. Everybody, it's going to be a who's who of folks. So those aren't necessarily our events. We co-work with those conferences to bring awareness to their event. We host events around that and try and host workshops as well. So anything that we can do to bring awareness to mining, crypto, trading, anything along those lines is really our niche. And hopefully we can start expanding that into different types of blockchain specific businesses.
Now, Fernando, you are involved with educating people about crypto, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So is there just one thing, like if let's just say I know nothing about crypto, but there's just one thing that's everybody in the world should know or needs to know, what would that be?
It's a tough question. To answer it in one word, I would say the decentralization of it. I know it's very difficult to explain, but the fact that it's decentralized to me is one of the highest values that are there. I know folks speak about the security around it and the speed,
Right.
But I personally like the decentralization of the currency. I recently had a check that I cashed to my bank. It was a cashed check, and they held the funds for about 2 weeks, where they said, it's our normal process. You can't have the funds, you can't have the money, and it just drove me nuts, right? So that's something that wouldn't happen with crypto. I think the concept of decentralization is something that it's difficult to comprehend from a non-technical person, but once you get it, it definitely has value. So I would say teaching and understanding the decentralization around blockchain is vital. And probably one of the most important questions I get. And the most common question I get really is, what is Bitcoin? But
Right.
Either that
Yeah.
or actually that's a lie. The most common question I get is what money what money do I put into, or what
Which one
cryptocurrency do
do
I
I buy?
purchase? Yeah.
All
What's
right.
the next big boom? And well, the answer to that is if I knew the answer to that question, I probably wouldn't be speaking to you at this moment in time. I'd probably be purchasing it and investing in it. So it's definitely something that's nobody knows the answer to that, I don't think. And
Mhm.
I think the most important thing to learn really around cryptocurrency is the decentralization.
Yeah, Ethan and I were in Las Vegas recently. We went to the World CryptoCon there, and we every time we got in an Uber, what we try to do is ask the Uber driver about did they know what Bitcoin is and all that. And one of our Uber drivers was a little shy. He didn't want to be preached at. He didn't want to be roped into some MLM scam. But
Right.
one of our drivers in particular was like, Bitcoin? What? I haven't heard of that before. And that was
Yeah.
so crazy to think that like us guys were so deep into this that we wouldn't even give that a second thought. But to think that some people right in our own backyards haven't even heard of the word Bitcoin before. It's just
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
definitely
it's
common.
especially with it going on like all week, you would think they would have crossed paths with somebody in Vegas that would have,
Right.
told them before us.
Yeah, at some point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you do, Fernando, to help people learn? Have you found any like effective tools or effective ways? Do you think that people are learning better just through like talks, or are they learning better through, audiovisual presentations, or is it more like a face-to-face thing? Does it, do people learn better, through human interaction? Like what's your take on that?
So what I've found from our events is that there's different niches and groups of folks that exist, right? So I went to high school, I've got my buddies, I've got about 5 to 10 friends that I talk to, and we're constantly talking about things that we know. And
Mhm.
out of my 10 friends, I'm interested in blockchain and crypto, and I want to talk about it, but none of my friends are interested in it.
Yeah.
So I've found that a lot of our events are people that want to talk about blockchain and crypto, but they don't have anybody to talk to with or talk
Okay.
about it towards. So
Yeah.
they come to our events and like the mix and mingle specifically, people come and they just want to talk about blockchain and crypto, whether it's the project that they're working on, the cryptocurrency they're trading, what's the new thing that's out there. And they actually start learning by teaching. I'll put that in air quotes. So as some folks who are novices and they want to learn about blockchain, they're
Mhm.
there to learn, the decentralization aspect of it or the mining aspect of it. And then the folks that have been in the game, let's say recently, a couple months, that they've been doing some research, they start teaching these folks and they start adding to their bag, let's call it. And
Okay.
then the folks that have been in the game for quite a while, they're going in there specifically to network. So there's usually 3 different levels of people at our events. It's the people that absolutely know nothing, they're looking to learn. The people that
Okay.
know a little bit to, I guess, solidify their education. And then the third one are the folks that have been in the game for years. They're mining, they're trading, they've got everything, maybe a crypto business, and they're looking to network, maybe find funding, things of that nature. So that is also something that we help with. We try and connect individuals with investors, and yeah, that's kind of like the structure on some of our events.
Mm-hmm.
The panels also help. Folks love the panels. The only difficulty on the panels is feedback is always mixed. It's either we
Sure.
didn't
Yeah.
deep dive enough or we
We went too deep.
should have either we went too deep or we went too far. So or
Yeah.
yeah, we didn't go deep enough. So it's mixed. So what we try and do is we'll host panels and we'll keep a open section towards the end for our smaller panels, and that where individuals
Mhm.
can go up and speak to the speakers and ask those questions that they want to ask.
Yeah, I mean, for me, particularly with that Mining Disrupt conference, and I just can't get off that topic. But what I enjoyed the most was just meeting other people, schmoozing, uh, because on a day-to-day basis, I don't really talk to people in the blockchain industry very much. I've got my wife and family and some of my friends, and if I start talking about Bitcoin too much, it's just,
Yeah.
their eyes glaze over. So it's really great to be able to just talk with other like-minded people. So yeah, I really love what you guys are doing.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely agree. Once you get into hash rate, people's eyes start to glaze over, and they just
Difficulty, hash rate, yeah.
Fernando, you're currently in Miami right now, correct?
Correct.
Right. Can you
It's
tell
nice
us,
and cold over here.
yeah, can you tell us, because it sounds like you organize a lot of events, and so maybe there's a lot of travel involved in your life. What's your day-to-day life like?
Oof. So I've decided to not travel for the rest of this year, but
Okay, that's just 2 weeks. All right.
Fair.
Yeah.
I'm definitely platinum status for 2020 already for some airlines. I travel, let's call it 60% of the time.
Okay. Wow.
It's something that's great in the beginning, and everybody wants to travel. And once you kind of start doing a little bit, it gets tiring, especially staying in a hotel when you have family and kids. But yeah, we do travel a lot. We try and go to different events. Interesting, this block tech networks. What we do is we try and find individuals in different states, cities that are interested in networking, build. We network with these folks to host events with us. So we collaborate, we do events with them, we show them the ropes on how to do the events, and then the goal is for them to transition to lead that chapter. So we have chapters in multiple cities and states, and that's how we do all of our events. So sometimes I travel to these events, which is the bulk of what we do, as well as other conferences. Mm-hmm. We couldn't go to World CryptoCon, but it definitely was one of the events that we wanted to go to.
Fernando, that's just amazing that you travel so much, and you still look so young. You haven't gone gray like myself. I'd like to take this moment right now to say thanks to NovaBlock, our sponsors for this episode. NovaBlock started around 4 months ago, back in August 2019, and they are now in the top 15 of public pools that are available for mining. And, they just have a really interesting philosophy that as China moves their hash rate out around the world and decentralizes, they want to be a part of that decentralization, while at the same time giving their customers transparency and educating them on, what is the best mining pool for their needs. And I think they're fantastic. So thank you, NovaBlock.
Yeah. And so at the same time, go out to their website, novablock.com, and on the top right corner, there's a sign up button. If you use the invitation code OFFORD18, that's OFFORD18, you get a permanent reduction in your mining fees down to 1.8% for life. Or if you have a lot of hash power, sign up with them and you can get even a lower rate. So thank you, NovaBlock.
All right, so Fernando, tell us, what do you see in the future? Where's this going? Like, from your perspective, I mean, you said you've been in this since what, 2009 or yeah.
Yeah. So I heard about it first in 2009, ended up buying my first Bitcoin, I'd say 2011.
Okay. Yeah. Wow.
Around there.
Early.
Yeah, I think it was around a little bit under $500 each one at the time. So I started buying at that point. Ethereum was around, I believe, super cheap. Should have bought more. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. But yeah, I've been in the space for quite a while. As far as where I see it going, so right now my stance is that I'm expecting chain, the technology to be used
Mhm.
with folks to not know that it's happening. So it's going to be used, let's say, in third-party systems, CRM systems, transferring of data, might even be used in the banking system in the back end, but nobody will know that it's actually being used.
Mhm.
I think that's going to be the first wave. And then hopefully once people are using it without knowing that it's being used, they will start earning a little additional trust towards it. And then maybe start using it a little bit more. I am concerned what's going to happen once the last Bitcoin is mined, right? What's going to happen around validating trades. I think that's going to be an interesting point in time for cryptocurrency in general. But I do think the first step or the next step is using the technology as a behind the scenes kind of tech. And then eventually, once people trust it, believe it, understand it, and it's not used predominantly for drugs and all that fraudulent, I guess, unlawful things that it was used for in the beginning, once that moniker is gone, I think it's going to be a little bit more mainstream.
Do you really feel that trust is an issue? And like, I'm just kind of, I know a lot of people that have a mistrust for corporations. And so I'm just wondering like how you're connecting the dots where, corporate adoption to utilize the technology, the blockchain technology for their benefit is somehow going to instill a public trust. How do you connect those dots? Because, for me,
Fair.
when I explain Bitcoin and I show people a dollar bill, I tell them, like this is just a piece of paper. Technically, it's not a piece of paper; it's actually made out of linen. But but you trust it has a value, and everyone else trusts it has a value. And the hardest part, I guess, for people that I talk to, for them to trust is because they can't see it, they can't touch it, they can't feel it. That's why they don't believe in it. And as soon as I set up a wallet for them and I send them some coin and I show them how they can cash it out and how they can put it in their bank account, that's when it all clicks together to them. And that's when they begin to trust it like a dollar.
I think it's a combination of two different types of trust, if I'm saying that correctly. So for
Okay.
the novice
Right.
user, in your case, I think I've heard these things about Bitcoin. I don't trust it, but once I make a wallet and I see those transfers being done, then it kind of clicks in my head and I somewhat trust it. Those are some of the users. But then I've also seen the other users that it's not that they don't trust the Bitcoin or blockchain or cryptocurrency, they don't trust themselves, or they don't believe that they're not going to screw the pooch and lose their private key, send the coin to the wrong wallet. I find that people are more nervous to send a transaction because they're not sure if they're going to do it right than anything. And it's like they don't trust themselves to believe that what they're doing is the right way to do it. So when I first sent my $10, $20, $30 worth of Bitcoin to someone, I just wanted to see what it was, like how it worked. And I was freaking out. And did you send me the right wallet? I copied and pasted the address 10 times. And I tried to check it as many times as possible. I even dropped it in Excel and said, is this equal to that? True. Perfect. And then I finally made that trade. And that was years ago. I still do that today sometimes. So I think there is a little bit of, I guess, nervousness when it comes to keeping your money on in your wallet and how to send it, as well as keeping your money on exchanges. Some folks don't like the fact that you got to keep the money on the exchange if I want to trade, and then taking it out and putting it back in and the fees around that. So I think there's a combination of things there. I personally don't trust, some of the, let's say, pools. I've always felt like there's a potential for me to be earning more based on my hash rate, and maybe they're just giving me a lower rate. I've never known if that was a game or not. I've read some articles back in the day where they said, ASICs were mining more and they were just keeping some of the hash rate for themselves. I've heard a bunch of stuff. So that there's a lot of hearsay around blockchain and cryptocurrency, and that's causing a lot of issues around trust.
Yeah. Well, and definitely, I think what you're doing with your education and the networking events and whatnot is definitely very helpful to bring that trust, and to even just to bring up those issues and to make them live and public.
Yeah, one of the things that we like to do when we can for some events is do a raffle at the end where we raffle cryptocurrency.
Okay.
And we force individuals to get a wallet and receive
Right.
cryptocurrency. So yeah, it's definitely eye-opening. And sometimes folks do own a wallet, so we'll try and use a cryptocurrency that they don't have. So for example, in Coinbase, you log into your Coinbase account, everybody has multiple wallets. You actually don't have an EOS wallet until you make a transaction in Coinbase. So little things like that, we'll try and send coins that maybe they don't own. Some coins require more information. Think of Monero. So just so that they can be familiar with what different coins are doing and how to send those trades. The more trades you do, the more comfortable you're going to feel using it.
Yeah. I remember the first time I can totally relate with you. The first time I ever did a transaction and I sent Bitcoin, I was shaking like a leaf and beads of sweat were coming off. And I was like, should I press the send button? And, what made it even worse is that I had friends behind me who, they see me as, just because you know technology doesn't mean you understand everything about everything. And a lot of people think I understand everything about everything. And so they're, putting all this weight on me to do this transaction and show them how it's done. And so, it was very nerve-wracking.
And then even, you get your ledger or treasure involved, and that's even another step. You got to press all these buttons and confirm and go back and forth. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm not to plug anything in, but I am working on a project where we're trying to, I guess, bridge the gap on multiple exchanges, something that we can connect all those APIs and use one central location to be able to trade between exchanges. Hopefully that'll increase volume, decrease price differentiation, eventually eliminate arbitrage opportunities. They still exist, but is what it is, which is it's good for the folks that got into that early in the game, right?
Yeah. Hey, so Fernando, I'm wondering what did you do before all of this? What's more of your background?
So my background is finance. I did do my master's in finance. I've always thought that I wanted to do something in numbers. My options were either accounting or finance, and accounting is the money I have and how I got there. Finance is the money. I'm more interested in what I'm going to do in the future than what's happened in the past. So I started off in finance, eventually moved into a corporate role. They transitioned me more into a product owner position because I was very tech savvy as well as understood the system. So I managed a group of developers for quite some time, QA testing, all that jazz. My product was a little bit under 4.8 billion in revenue a year. So it was big.
Wow.
And then eventually I transitioned out of that and into connecting people. I think I've always been behind the scenes in what I've done as a financial analyst, crunching numbers. Even on the tech side, my product at the time was not client facing. It was an internal product that was used to bill clients and generate those funds. So that revenue. So this has been very interesting for me to be a little bit more client facing and engaging individuals. I like interacting with folks. I think meeting Scott last year was really interesting. Even at Area 31, that was fun.
Oh, interesting is a good word. Yeah,
tell us your Scott story. I want to hear how you guys met.
No. I tell it better.
Okay, Scott, you tell it then. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So when I haven't eaten in a long time and my blood sugar gets low, I get a little cranky.
This I know. He always has like a box of raisin with him. Like he is always like snacking.
And that was kind of like Fernando's maybe first face-to-face experience with me. I was like, food. I need food. Where's the damn food? Yeah.
Well, we got him fries. We got him a burger. It was the best fries and burgers he's had in Miami.
Oh
and
man.
we got a burger and fries with your name on it. And I'll make sure to have a box of raisins too.
There we
Yeah,
go.
yeah. I'm gonna start carrying around like maybe some mandarin oranges or something like that in case we get an emergency and I'm stuck with Scott. I'm like, here, man,
man.
just take it.
You don't want to see me when I'm getting hungry.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Hulk.
Yeah. So Fernando, tell us a little bit more of the details about the Mining Disrupt conference coming up in July. What can we look forward to? What's going to be different from last year? Things like that.
So you could definitely look forward to seeing a lot of the same faces, same folks. We want to have all the major distributors like we did last year. We want to have most of the major purchasers as well as manufacturers. We are changing some things this year. So last year we had mining containers in the front. It was a little bit of a walk to get to them. So we're going to try and make that access a little bit easier so that folks can interact with the containers. We're going to change the format around on the stage. And we're also going to change it from a one-day event to a two-day event. So
awesome.
Instead of
definitely.
Area 31 being the after party, we're going to use that as the first night's mix and mingle, where we'll wrap it up early. Folks can connect after the first day of events, first day of speaking. And then day 2, we will do the all-out party. We go to a lot of conferences. We don't want to give people too much on the first day because we know day 2, they're going to be out of it, especially in Miami because there's stuff to do all the time. So yeah, that's kind of the goal. Change it to a 2-day event instead of a 1-day. Trying and increase awareness to a lot of the folks that have been, I guess, supporting us throughout this year and next year as well. And there's been a lot of projects that have come up, Scott included, where we definitely want to try and bring more people to understanding what that is. So what I've noticed is from going to different events, a lot of the same folks tend to go because they're trying to add more people to their network. So what we want to do is we want those folks to come. We want those folks to start bringing their friends and expanding their network and bringing more people to our events. So if Scott met Ethan for the first time last year at the conference, and in 2020, we're hoping now that you've gained that relationship where now you can start opening your networks and maybe connecting with each other, doing some deal flow between each other. I think that's going to be really interesting. I would like to try and do some, I guess, collaboration areas where folks can set some time to connect with each other at a specific area. My long-term goal, I can't do it for 2020, but eventually I want to do when it accepts crypto throughout the entire event, soup to nuts.
That would be
soda.
Cool.
Yeah. The biggest pain point I'm having right now is the venue itself because they don't really deal with crypto. But I'm hoping eventually we can do 100% crypto event. You cannot do anything unless you have a blockchain crypto wallet and pay some sort of crypto.
I'm going to start stashing coin right now.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I think that'll be really cool, especially if we can incorporate vending machines where people can swipe QR codes and purchase drinks. And the more what I've noticed from the Novus users is they might know how to send coin via entering the wallet and sending it, but I'm actually shocked to see that most of those users have no idea that the QR code is there where they can just scan it and send it, so that they're not that nervous about, oh, did I get the right value in there or not? So yeah, I think using that more often in vending machines and other types of things, even charging stations, whatever it is that it might come up, I think that'll be cool, and I think it'll bring people to that comfort level that needs to exist for them to adopt cryptocurrency.
Yeah. Well, maybe Mining Disrupt 2021. We'll see.
Yeah. Definitely.
Another thing too is, ladies, or this is a suggestion. Maybe you could give the ladies free tickets.
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah. So
is that
ladies, you get in free. Dudes, you got to pay. You got to, use your crypto or whatever. But, hey, ladies, because I would love to bring my fiance with me. She would love to come in, but it's just, I can't justify the expense because it's not her business. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not how she's making a living, but she would love to tag along with me.
Yeah, there's a lot of dudes in this industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that there are a lot of groups now that are coming up that we've started working with. So Women in Blockchain is actually one of the more popular ones.
Yeah.
There is a strong presence. The few women that are in crypto definitely have a strong presence. I do think that number needs to increase. It's like a 20 to 1 ratio right now.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
we did have some women at last year's event. The parties definitely had some women, but we are looking to market a little bit more women to see if they come into our events and learn a little bit more. So that's a fair point, and we'll see what we can do with it.
So yeah, as we just wrap up here, why don't you just tell our listeners a little bit about how they can get a hold of you, and the Mining Disrupt event.
Yeah, so feel free to go to miningdisrupt.com to purchase some tickets for the event. Scott's got his offer code where you can receive discounts. And then as far as our monthly events, feel free to go to blocktech.network, where you can see all the events that we've got coming up. So feel free to reach out to me on Telegram or in our Telegram chat, Mining Disrupt, or my Telegram name, Fernando Blocktech, which you see at the bottom of the screen. Thank you, guys. And I'm looking forward to hearing from your listeners.
Excellent.
Thank you a lot, Fernando. That's awesome. And thank you again to NovaBlock for being our sponsor.
Yeah.
Thanks
all right, guys.
Right.
Take care.
Right. See ya.